Alright. I get the feeling we're probably going to be in red this time. Alright. 2 ambushed on the road, not good. Flame Fist is good, is solid. Steadfast is solid. Valiant Farewell still haven't played around with. Celestial Unicorns, our Ranger Squadron still haven't cast yet. Guardian Naga, unimpressive. So pretty mediocre white. Blue has Looter is fine. Seek New Knowledge is fine. Ray of Frost is fine. Stuff is fine. Allure is solid. That's been impressive. Water Weird's fine. Rhyme Shield's fine. Dragon's fine. Air Colt's fine. Signature Spells. 4 blue enchantment. When it enters the battlefield, seek 2 instant and or sorcery cards with mana value 3 exactly? Okay, then exile them. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may copy a card exiled with signature spells. You may cast the copy without paying its mana cost. Okay, so you get 2 random instants or sorceries with mana cost 3, and then get to cast one of those every turn of your choice. So we could get Grave Choice. You could get Improvised Weaponry. You could get Band Together, Follow the Tracks. That's like almost playable-ish, but sounds bad. Just filter to check all the valid spells? Yeah, but where's the fun in that? So in black we have Armor of Shadows. Shambling Ghoul is fine. Sepulchre Ghoul is solid. Grim Wanderers, probably very solid. Horde Robbers, fine. Grave Choice, fine. Slod, solid. Imp, solid. Skullport Merchant, good. Servok, good. Hakor and Summon Undead, meh. In red, we have 2 Kobold Warcallers, which might be too many. Dragon's Fire's good. Hobgoblin Captain is solid. Mephit's Enthusiasm. Alright. 1 in a red. Deals 4 damage to target creature or planeswalker for 2 mana. It is already excellent. If excess damage was dealt this way, note that excess damage, then you get a boon with when you cast your next creature spell, perpetually gets +X+O, where X is the noted number. That's excellent? That's very excellent. Unexpected Allies has been fine. Giant Fire Battlers is fine. Improvised Weaponry is good. Shaded Sellsword's fine. Cardoom is very good. Chaos Balor, when we played against this card, was absolutely absurd. Faraday's Fireball is fine. Green has 2 Null Hunters is solid. Shiri is solid-ish. Solid enough. 2 mana, 2/3 that naturalizes is fine flexibility. Band Together's fine. Follow the Tracks is fine. Sylvan Shepherd's Ambitious Dragonborn Owlbear good. Hillgorger Giant good. Then Minsk and Boo. What do you do? 3 red green, 3 loyalty, legendary planeswalker. When Minsk and Boo Timeless Heroes enters the battlefield and at the beginning of your upkeep, if you don't control a creature named Boo, create Boo. Oh, interesting. So you get to sack your Boo over and over for value. Put 3 +1/+1 counters on up to 1 target creature with Trample or Haste, which is presumably your Boo. Okay, so 5 mana, 4 loyalty planeswalker plus a 4. Okay. Sacrifice a creature. When you do, Minsk and Boo Timeless Hero deals X damage to any target, where X is that creature's power. If the sacrificed creature was a hamster, draw X cards. Oh no! Huh. Yeah, that seems good. This is definitely an engine. I don't know if this like recovers a board state where you're behind, but anytime you're at parity, this is a deeply powerful engine that incentivizes attacks. What do you do? When it enters the battlefield, another target non-token creature you control gains double team until end of turn. Whenever it attacks, conjure a duplicate of another target non-token attacking creature to your... Wow, that's a lot. Okay, I gotta go wash my face for a second. Too much cat hair. Okay, well. I messed up and forgot to turn on the YouTube recording after I got back from the bathroom. So, this is where we ended up. A lot of treasure production, a lot of aggro, splashing Minsk. Not splashing the older, although I kind of wish we could. Playing 16 lands might be a mistake, but I can't figure out a cut. So, run older and cut both cell swords. Yeah? I mean, 4/3 first strike haste feels like everything this deck wants to be doing. Especially if it's a 5/4 haste off of Kalain. Like, that's just kind of rad, right? Did we get any gates? Did we? No. Well, we got it in blue, but blue's not a real color. I think this is where I'm at. I want to test the sellswords. It might be possible that cutting a sellsword for a 17th land is correct. But I think we're going to test it this way first. I want to get a feeling for if sellsword on the high roll feels powerful or not. How far is it worth going to include a sellsword if you enable it with treasures? Be too scared to use treasure for sellsword knowing Minsk is in the deck? Yeah. And we actually don't have a huge number of specialized discard outlets in this deck, so it's not necessarily a guarantee that we'll be able to use it. But we have like 8 treasure sources, so I don't hate using one treasure source on curve to pump out a hasty attacker. Alright. We have a 2-drop. We have a 3-drop. We have a 4-drop that improvised weaponry technically fixes for. Alright, well, now improvised weaponry is probably fixing for the Minsk and Boo instead, if we're being realistic. Green and blue? Okay, those are colors. A 1/2 Death Toucher? Wow, that gets so improvised weaponry. How delightful. Now, hopefully we hit a land drop, because my life is going to be really awkward if I have to figure out what to do with this treasure while missing this land drop. Especially because they didn't give me a target to hit with Mephit's Enthusiasm. Instead, we drew a Mephit's Enthusiasm. Alright, well, I guess I'm doing nothing, because I really don't want to play the Cardoom in that spot. Lizard Folk Librarians? Oh no. Alright, well, we can Mephit's Enthusiasm that, I guess. I mean, we are still punching our opponent with a Goblin Captain every turn, so, like, that's fine-ish. Would still be a solid time to hit a land drop. Okay. So, not a red source, so we can't play the Cardoom and attack holding up Armor of Shadows. We could play Minsk and make a 4/4. This is haste. Oh my. That's appealing. I mean, that's probably what we're supposed to do, right? I think we're just probably supposed to try to kill our opponent. Could grow the captain? We cannot. Only puts it on creatures with trample or haste. The captain does not have such stats. Because, like, now even if our opponent kills this Minsk and Boo, we still have a 4/4, which is pretty rad. Yeah, we're good. Throwing Boo next turn does draw 4, which currently we have the loyalty to do. We could also just grow Boo and attack with Boo, which is also pretty good. I mean, like, absent anything else, this is currently relatively lethal. So, like, this seems fine. I would like them to not bounce my 4/4. That's rude. Okay. Alright, well, let's go ahead and attack with the Hobgoblin Captain. Hope the opponent blocks. Armor of Shadows. Mephit's Enthusiasm to remove the Librarian. Call it good. No? Okay. Oh, opponent. So mean. Alright, well, Minsk is still sitting around not being dead on board, which is pretty solid. Huh. So even if I had down-ticked Boo, they would have bounced the Boo, and then I would have sacked the Goblin to deal 3 to their face, and that would have been awful. Surprisingly hard countered by you come to a river in that spot. Okay, that's just a 4-4. That doesn't matter. So if they attack, they die. So they decided not to attack. I mean, good on them, I suppose. Let's go ahead and kill that Skanos. So that seems like a good idea. And then I guess we'll go ahead and attack and get first strike. And the opponent's kind of got to throw it in front of the Hobgoblin Captain. And then we're going to kill the Lizard Folk. Alright, opponent. So they have to deal with a 4-4 Trampler that's lethal, a 3-1 that's lethal, Minsk and Boo that can sacrifice either creature for lethal, and if they kill the hamster, makes another hamster, and then I casually just have another haster in hand if we ever draw another red source. Okay, well, considering that went extremely well despite being deeply awkward on mana, good sign. Okay. Horde Robber on the play, very, very, very strong. Horde Robber on the play into Jaded Sellsword sounds especially strong. No, my Horde Robber! Opponent's so mean. Oh, this is just... Why'd you have to kill that and not give me a target for improvised weaponry when I don't have my 4th land drop, opponent? Yuck. I kind of wonder if I'm supposed to improvise weaponry face there, but that seems like such a waste. Create a tapped 4-1 black skeleton creature token with menace. 2 and a black. Exile a creature you control. Return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. Activate only as a sorcery. Oh. That's spicy. That's quite good in like a black-white blink deck. As for this deck, I'm not sure. Well, let's just go ahead and play our 4-3 haster. And go about attacking for 6, because that seems good. Preferably you have bombs that let you kill your opponent before they can cast their bombs. Yeah, well, thankfully this particular deck has a lot of bombs that are very good at killing our opponent. Okay, Altar of Ball. But they don't have anything in the graveyard, so that's not, like, concerning. Wow, opponent's getting in there. Okay. Well... let's go ahead and pump the Sepulchre Ghoul then. Oh, this was bad. I shouldn't have let Auto Tapper tap me out of black mana, because potentially Cardoon gets removed there. And then we play the 1-drop. Life seems difficult for our opponent. Oh, that's cool. In response to the Servok trigger, I could have sacrificed the Servok to do another 3 damage. By pumping the Ghoul and putting 1 more creature in the graveyard for the trigger. Wasn't relevant here, but I missed that was an option. Yeah, Curidim lets you see the exiled cards to reference them. Because it memorizes it. So to the opponent, these cards are face down, but to us, they're face up. Which is a little confusing, actually. It'd be very easy to forget and assume that your opponent knows what cards are in there. Okay, so we're going to sacrifice that Cardoon so our opponent does not get a treasure. Let's see. I would like to... play Shambling Ghast? Wait, why are these... Aren't these in exile? No, they're in my hand. Oh, because at the beginning of the instep we discard them. Oh, I didn't even realize. Huh. Okay. Well, let's go ahead then and improvised weaponry the 4-1, I guess? And then play Shambling Ghast. And then I guess sack the Shambling Ghast for lethal, which is more damage. I don't know if that was the right way to do that. Oh, you know what? I think what I should have done, I should have just been willing to not play the improvised weaponry. I should have played Shambling Ghast. Oh, no. I can't... I don't think I can make a treasure and cast Jaded Sellsword and kill the 4-1 blocker. But I could play the Shambling Ghast and sack it to kill the 4-1. And then I could have improvised weaponry the face, which is technically more damage. I don't know. I'm not sure if there was like a more correct thing. There are a lot of routes to lethal there. I don't know if there's like anything I'm ever supposed to be worried about on 1 mana there. Like, technically doing it this way plays around shock. Because I can pump Sepulchre Ghoul, and if they shock, sacks Shambling Ghast. Well, no, because I could have shocked the Sepulchre Ghoul in response to the Shambling Ghast. So it does not play around shock. But there's no shock in the format. Anyway, I'm getting caught up in the weeds. Okay, so we have turn 1 Kobold Warcaller, which is pretty good. We are in the draw, which is a little disappointing, because curving out Hobgoblin Captain attacking on turn 2 would have been sweet. I mean, turn 2 on the play would have been sweet. We can still do it, and it is still sweet. It's just... there's a pretty strong chance the opponent would have a blocker. But they don't, so that's cool. So for those keeping track, Kobold Warcaller has done 3 damage so far this game. As a 1-drop. Oh, that's a little rude. I don't want them to get either of these cards. Alright. I think keeping the Hobgoblin Captain around is going to do more damage here. Probably? Maybe not. That might actually be wrong. I didn't really want to give him the Hobgoblin Captain to just immediately block the Servok, but maybe that was more correct. Especially because it cost more mana and didn't let them play a 3-drop this turn. Okay, so this is fun. Oh. I was going to say it's very fun that playing Servok lets us pump the Nefarious Imp, which gives the Hobgoblin first strike, but maybe it's even more fun that we can just play Cardoom and attack with the whole squad and still get first strike. I mean, they can double block now. Which is, like, fine by me. Because then they lose 2 things and I draw a card? I'll have to get a land drop or a 3-drop, or I guess some other lower cost thing, for the armor to actually be playable next turn, but... Yep. This feels like tempo. And I get to scry. That's fun. Probably just scrying towards a land. Okay, that's a land. Chaos Balor, what do you do? Attacks or dies? Ah, this would be so much better if it had haste. Dang. Jaded Sellsword. 4-3. Sure. Well, I could play the Chaos Balor, or I could just play Servok. Go to combat and pump the Imp. Attack for 7. You gonna jump the captain because you kinda don't want to go to 2? No? Alright. Well, we're gonna discard this Armor of Shadows, so we're still gonna, I guess, do 1 more point of damage with it. Okay, opponent. So you gotta wipe my board, basically. Got a lethal flyer. Can this give menace with red? Alright, so I have 2 lethal menace threats. Mill 3 lands, not looking like it's gonna get there. I didn't even get to play my Mythic. Dang. We kind of just curved out on the strength of Cardoom, mostly, and Cobalt Warcaller. I'm still not actually certain whether I made the correct choice sacking the Cobalt Warcaller there, to be honest. Well, I guess we top-decked a creature that had haste on 4, which kind of would have made the Warcaller redundant on that particular turn. Although we also would have been able to give Balor haste, and giving Balor haste essentially turns it into like a 6-power hasty attacker. No, an 8-power hasty attacker. Because it hits the opponent for 2, and hits itself for pumping for 2 power permanently. Yeah, that's kind of bonkers. Although I guess it would have killed the rest of my creatures, so that wouldn't have actually been a gain in overall damage. Alright, we have... I think I kind of have to keep this, even on the draw with no black mana. Okay, well, we can have black mana, but like, Method's Enthusiasm is so good. Hexproof from artifacts and enchantments. Huh. So, like, I could just Mephit's Enthusiasm that. I could also make a treasure and then play Jaded Sellsword next turn, but that sounds not the best. I could just play Hobgoblin Captain. Probably just supposed to play Hobgoblin Captain. I don't think it's correct to Mephit's Enthusiasm, the random 2-3 that doesn't matter very much. Like, if my opponent wants to specialize to turn it into a 4 toughness thing just to block the Hobgoblin Captain, then I Mephit's Enthusiasm it at that point, and, like, I got a 2-for-1, which is probably better than the Mephit's stuff. Where they punch my 3-1. Okay. Well, that's sad too. Mephit's Enthusiasm is not an instant, no. Not quite that good. Still very, very good, but not quite that good. Ugh, Clement. That card is very deeply busted. Ugh. So strong. Alright, well, I don't really want to let that specialize, even though it already got most of its value. Now I have the choice between whether I want to play a Sepulchre Ghoul or set up for like a 6-power Jaded Sellsword. Probably just supposed to play a really large Sepulchre Ghoul. Opponent decided to miss their land drops to play a very questionable Scouting Hawk. Sure. Works for me. Giant beetles, eh? This is kind of awkward. kind of want to represent an attack that kills both my opponent's creatures, but I don't know whether I'm supposed to value giant fire beetles more than a 4/2 sepulchre ghoul. And if not, then like what am I supposed to play? If I play giant fire beetles, I'm probably supposed to play giant fire beetles. And then if they actually block with Jaheira, sack the fire beetles. Okay. But by actually having played the fire beetles, my opponent doesn't block, which is kind of the best case scenario for me, I think. Do I want a red source? It does let us go treasure Hasty Jaded Sellsword, which is pretty solid. But on the other hand, I think I just don't want to flood out. Lifelinker, not ideal. Now, why are you not spending your mana here, opponent? Not even pumping your Jaheira. That's concerning. Oh. Okay. So if I sack the giant fire beetles, are you going to kill my ghoul in response? Is that your idea? Yeah, okay. I will not give you that option. I accept your trade. We will just play our 5/3 and be satisfied with this. Yeah, that is exactly what they were going to do. Successfully not too greedy. Favorite enemy. I don't even know what that's going to be. Demon, apparently. Now would be a good time to draw Minsk and Boo. Or we could draw a demon. Yeah, we should probably just play the demon. It's a pretty good card. Not impressed by the 5/3. I mean, we traded a 2-drop 5/3 for opponent's 3-mana removal. That's still pretty solid, all things considered. I mean, do I just play the 4/3 with haste? Get my opponent low? I'm going to assume I should hold on to the 4/3 with haste. Oh, I should have played the 4/3 with haste because they can naturalize to gain life and kill our treasure anyway. Yeah, error. Alright. What does favorite enemy do if there's a tie for most common creature type? Presumably it selects at random between them. Two blockers on the ground. 3 blockers on the ground. Well, I guess I'm glad I played the flyer. Okay. Can we attack with you? Yeah, I think so. That gives me a good opportunity to use all these treasures. Admittedly, I did forget that we were giving the opponent a +1/+1 counter. Okay. Skullport Merchant. Horde Robber. Shambling Ghast. I mean, I think I still got more than a +1/+1 counter's worth of value out of that thing dying. Okay, so they have to gain life or else somehow answer the flyer, which means they're probably gonna specialize Jahiria. If this... Oh, if they actually target the treasure, they don't gain the life. That's hilarious. I think it's all one ability, so if they choose a target and the target fizzles, the life gain doesn't happen. Meaning they actually have to not target the treasure. Well, that's kind of a problem. Well, let's see here. That's mostly going to win the game if it attacks. So I have to kill them this turn. I can sack Shambling Ghast, kill Flamefist Duskguard. That leaves me 1 damage short, huh? Oh, dear me. Dear me. I can't block the gold dragon. Wait, what if I just play the sellsword? Block, block, block. Still only 2. So I need to hit a removal spell? Oh, I need my opponent. Oh, I can play the Nefarious Imp as a blocker. I guess that's my line now. Okay, well, that's the plan. Hope they don't have a removal spell. This has already been activated, yeah? Okay. 1 card for the opponent. So we can still fizzle life gain if they try to go for life gain by targeting the treasure. There's Chaos Balor. That's pretty cool. If the opponent has nothing, attacking is lethal. Which makes me feel pretty strongly that I'm supposed to just play Jaded Sellsword and go for it. Ooh, that's also cool. I'll take that. Alrighty, team. That's a good sign. Has Lord Robert treated me well? Mostly. It's much better on the play, but it also blocks fairly well, so it's not an embarrassing card. Mostly it's there because we want more 2-drops in an otherwise aggressive deck, and we have a larger than average use for excess treasures. Right, so if they're clever, they can fizzle that, or they can avoid the life gain fizzle. They just choose to not target the treasure. But you have to be thinking kind of a couple of steps ahead to realize that you're not supposed to get the free value of the Naturalize. Alright, well, we're on the draw, but turn 1 Warcaller, turn 2 Horde Robber sounds pretty excellent if the opponent doesn't have a blocker. No! Not only do they have a blocker, they have a pretty good one. Boo. How disappointing. Alright. You want to trade your Corlessa for my Kobold opponent? No? Okay, cool. Deal. Deal! Yeah. Okay, well, my ghoul does not untap. This is disappointing. However, oh, this is interesting. Would I rather have the Nefarious Imp in play and attacking, or the Fire Beetles in play and attacking? I'm gonna go with it's probably better to have the Nefarious Imp in play and attacking. Just for the incidental scry. I think that's slightly more valuable than a menace creature. On the off chance the opponent plays some kind of removal spell. It's like, the Nefarious Imp gets to get in again if they play another creature. The Fire Beetle doesn't get to get in again if they play a second creature. Hobgoblin Captain. Okay, opponent. Alright, so I'm supposed to believe you just attacked with your 1/4 for no reason, and then passed while holding up 4 mana for no reason? I think I'm just attacking with this Horde Robber here, then. And trying to start developing treasure. But there's such a good a chance that the opponent has like a counter spell or a bounce spell. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, this is definitely the play with a max upside. So I think we go for it. There's the untap trick. Oh, does that give reach too? That is super what they probably have. The play around that would be the Beatles. Them attacking is a pretty strong indication that is what they have. Gives hexproof. Okay, yeah. You're right. I should have thought about that. Nope, okay. Just more Ray of Frosts. That's cool. I still think that they probably have the untap combat trick. Am I supposed to sack the Imp to scry towards a land here? Nah, because I can still just Fire Beetles. Okay, cool. Yeah. I wish that had haste, but it does not. Okay, so they don't have it or they would have used it there just to pump it at the end of turn. Not that attacking with Horde Robber accomplishes anything anyway. Ooh. So I can't actually start just sacking Nefarious Imp to make Servok actually pump? That's an option? My opponent's doing a lot of nothing. We can still activate the Ghoul, yes. But I've been operating under the assumption that having the Nefarious Imp around is better for the scry ability than sacking it for the 1 scry. So far Warcaller has done 6 damage to the opponent. Even with my misplay of the Horde Robber that would have done another 2. Oh, and we have finally hit the glitch for the evening that removes the sound effects. Lovely. We could consider attacking with Horde Robber here. It's a good bluff. Yeah, we could. Okay. I mean, this still has haste permanently, so that's cool. Do I want more lands? I guess I could use more lands. Can you sacrifice yourself? No. So I could sacrifice the Nefarious Imp here, and then sacrifice another creature next turn to get 2 pumps out of Servok? Two pumps out of Servok. No, I don't think that's relevant. And I can't do anything with the Dragon's Fire right now. I could, however, discard Hobgoblin. Actually, maybe discard Dragon's Fire? And then sack Nefarious Imp, give both Menace. Giving Horde Robber Menace sounds cool. Huh. Oh, no, this costs 3 mana to specialize, so that's not an option. Okay, well, I think we're still getting rid of Nefarious Imp here. Don't want that land, that's for sure. Okay. I believe I want to pump the Servok and then swing with the team. They can double block Fire Beetles if they want to. They can single block Servok, in which case I get to Dragon's Fire. They block this way. Which of these would I rather kill with Dragon's Fire then? Probably the 2/5? Yeah, probably the 2/5. Alrighty. Now next turn I can Giant Fire Beetle plus discard something to Servok to just swing with 4 menace creatures. Delightful. I can also sack the Kobold Warcaller. Or I guess I can actually swing with the Kobold Warcaller at this point, can't I? Just do 1 more point of damage, because I don't actually need to tap it to gain haste. Could have the bite removal spell with a Death Toucher. Yeah. So definitely an option for them to have a removal spell here. Ooh, improvised weaponry is also pretty radical. Do I want improvised weaponry? The Basilisk. It's so much less fun than giving Servok Menace, though. Dear me, dear me, dear me. I'm probably not actually supposed to do, like, anything, and I'm just supposed to swing with the squad here. I believe I'm not actually supposed to do anything, and I'm just supposed to hold up improvised weaponry now. Oh, it was probably better to pump a Giant Fire Beetle than the 1/1. Okay. Yeah. Little sloppy. Could have done that better. Also, putting it on the 1/3 instead of the 2/1. Well, by putting it on the 1/1, I kind of forced them to block the 1/1, which gave me a treasure. Whereas if I put it on the Horde Robber, I don't get a treasure, but I get a 1/1 sticking around, which might have been better. But yeah, definitely best to have put it on the Menace. Would have been better. So our 1-drop that gives things haste has continued to feel pretty high value. I'm pretty high on the first copy, I think, consistently. The 4/3 that if you use a treasure gains haste. We did have that be relevant in one game thus far, but we also haven't actually had it be like relevant on curve. But we also haven't had Kalane at any point, And like turn 2 Kalane into turn 3 Hasty 5/4 is most of what I was here for on that card. I guess the verdict is mostly that like I was expecting it to be medium fine, and medium fine is probably where it's appropriately at. Okay. Yeah, because this is kind of one of the problems, right? We could go turn 2 Red Dragon, turn 3 Jaded Sellsword, but I kind of just want to go turn 2 Hobgoblin Captain. I could go turn 3 Jaded Sellsword, turn 4 Cardoom. Is that better than turn 2 Captain, turn 3 nothing? That might actually be better. Okay, so yeah, let's not play the Hobgoblin Captain then. Opponent plays Warcaller, you have Patriarch's Humiliation, do you silence the Warcaller? That's an interesting question. I don't know. Like, not killing it? I do actually think it's better to play this Sellsword with First Strike than the Cardoom. I don't think I silenced the Warcaller, but that might be incorrect. I believe I want to play the Cardoom here. Yeah, Armor of Shadows is a radical hit. Actually, it's probably not, come to think of it. That's actually probably the hardest 1-drop for us to make use of. So, like, it's actually the worst hit. But it's the best hit if they actually try to block. No, opponent. It's mean. I need you to do something that lets me actually use this Armor of Shadows. Come on, you can do it. Play Dragonfire, play Dragonfire, play Dragonfire, play Dragonfire. There you go. Love it when they cooperate. And then we get to play our flyer. So Jaded Sellsword has been completely excellent this game. So everything that I was saying before the game started, well, turn 2 Young Red Dragon, turn 3 Jaded Sellsword on the play, looking very, 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 very good. I have no desire to block you, opponent. Okay, well, that blocks the Jaded Sellsword successfully. I am interested in trading to keep their board state under control, especially when I get to scry. Ooh, removal spell? Yeah, absolutely. Sounds delightful. Is Warcaller constructed playable? Maybe. There's definitely some more interesting synergies you can get around the idea that it actually is doing perpetual damage in constructed, or perpetually granting abilities. But I don't know. I don't know. But it's very, very, very close. All right. And there goes the opponent. All right. Well, let's see if we can get a 7-0. I've been actively avoiding Young Red Dragon as a good hero where you're short playables. I think that it's solid here. I mean, there's not a ton of opportunities to use your 2-drop for treasure, but like, I actively in that game decided I wanted to make a treasure on 2 mana rather than play a 3-1, which, that flexibility is powerful. We wanted the color fixing for our splashed rare, or well, our splashed bomb mythic actually. And like, a 3-2 attacker for 4 that flies is very solid if you are a deck that absolutely wants to be attacking, and you are very confident that you are the player who wants to be attacking, which we are very confident with this deck we want to be the player attacking. 80% of the games that we can manage that is what we want to do. Ooh, Shambling Ghast is interesting. Huh. Does that mean that I don't improvised weaponry the Flaming Fist? I play Shambling Ghast and hold up Dragon's Fire instead? I could probably do that. Part of this that kind of sucks is that I kind of still am obligated to Dragon's Fire the Flaming Fist Dust Guard because it can block Cardoom profitably. Oh, or they could just attack into it. That's fine. I'm happy to get a treasure out of this. Wow, okay. Opponent's out here struggling. Oh, opponent. I respect what you were going for, but wow, does it fail this time around. Oh, hey, that's a dragon. Cool. I didn't even realize. But yeah, that is not gonna work out for them. Okay, opponent, you got a lot of catching up to do very fast, because I am going to play a heck of a turn next turn. Okay, that trades with Cardoom. That's something. Could improvised weaponry to remove it and let the opponent draw a card. I don't really want to do that, though. Oh, that was awful. I was supposed to hold up red mana. I looked at that, analyzed it, and still let Auto Tapper hose me. I don't actually think I'm supposed to attack with a Cardoom now because of that. Yeah, if they have a removal spell here, they were supposed to play it before I got to attack. Yeah, they're kind of hurting, because they can't block the Hobgoblin anyway. Okay, so they do successfully kill the Sellsword. But we got a Hobgoblin with First Strike, which is cool. They play an Ambergris, which is normally horrifying, but this time around is not that bad. Okay, let's see. Do I want to remove their Ambergris? No, I don't think so. I think I'd rather just attack, play my 3 power worth of creatures, and then decide what else to do. Oh. Alright, that's cute. They get it before the Cardoom trigger happens. But I still get my first striker. Oh! So I exile a 1-drop when that resolves because the Cardoom was dead and it doesn't use last known information? Fascinating. Okay, so they lose that to the first strike. Cool. Dig it. I do not want my opponent drawing 2, so I guess we're going to improvised weaponry that Ambergris now. And then next turn we can attack in the air with a hasty 3-2. Which also gives the Hobgoblin Captain first strike, so that they cannot profitably block it. Sounds radical. And we make a treasure. Was making a treasure worse than just playing the ghoul? Almost certainly. I kind of just forgot about that. We can always give it haste next turn, right? 5 mana, double white. All right, let's play around board wipes. We're going to pretend that's what we're doing. Sweet. All right. I think that's us having a 7-0, which is not honestly entirely surprising given this list. It has 1 bomb, 2 bomb, 3-ish bomb. 3-ish bomb? Yeah, okay. I guess we only actually have 3 bombs. 2.9. We did play Minsk. We played Minsk once. Okay, I guess we also played Chaos Balor 0 times. So I guess we don't really get to give Chaos Balor credit for our deck going 7-0. Actually, considering we only played Minsk once and Chaos Balor 0 times, most of this work got done by just this shell being stellar. Cardoom admittedly got played multiple times. How come we only ran 16 lands here? We had enough treasure sources that I assumed I could get away with it. I don't know whether that was correct, but it seems to have mostly worked. I don't know whether the hand smoothing algorithm applies to this best of 1 deck, which might actually make 16 lands more playable. That might not be as unpunished if we were playing best of 3. Horde Robber looked mostly fine. I think Horde Robber is generally better in defensive lists than lists like this that are trying to be very aggressive, but I do think that the fact that we had Mephit's Enthusiasm and Dragonfire and Kobold Warcaller and Armor of Shadows and kind of improvised weaponry, all of those are things that do a lot to create openings for Horde Robber, which I think makes it better than normal and worth including in this particular aggressive list. Are both days in the competition best of 3 sealed? I actually have no idea. That is one of the things that I want to find out.